Oh, happy haze.
Hello, everyone. So today I'm super excited to show you some of my most favorite fiction titles. So get ready because I have a lot of goodies coming at you today. And today I'm going to give you a range of how to use these books with tiny little ones all the way up to third grade and beyond, because everyone likes a story. Let's be honest, it doesn't matter how old you are. So as I go, I'm going to sprinkle in some tips and some songs as I share the books so that you can add them to your next story time as well. I find that the things I'm going to teach you today, the engagement tricks and things like that, help my son stay engaged for longer, right? 2.5, he wants to bounce around, things like that. So these things like repetition that I'll show you today are really helpful and really keep him on the edge of his seat while we're reading stories. So we'll start with the Usborne Little Board Books. So these are only $4.99. Look at how cute they are. They're the perfect size. Throw them in your beach bag, put them in your car. Michael likes to read them while he's on the potty. I'll catch him, he's flipping through the pages, reading them to himself. Again, he's 2.5, so these are perfect for his tiny little hands, and he will say the stories out loud because they're really familiar stories, right? Little Red Riding Hood, The Little Red Hen, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This is a big favorite in our house. He wants to tell Goldilocks all day, every day. And the Three Little Pigs, Old MacDonald. So you really can't beat these, right? Yeah, Jordan's like favorites for her 2.5-year-old as well. So these are a go-to for sure. And I'm excited because there's a new title, right? Chicken Licken coming out. So that is another little board book to add to your collection. So as I'm reading these, I always do a quick preview. So before I even start reading, I'll tell them, this is the front cover. What's it called? The front cover. So you're starting to teach them the parts of the book. Your kindergarten teachers will thank you. This is called the back cover. What's it called? The back cover. So you'll see lots of repetition. That is like my go-to, repetition all day, every day. This is called the spine. This is called the spine, right? So just going through the parts of the book, you can do it every single time you pick up a book, just for again, that repetition. This is the title. Let's read the title, Little Red Riding Hood, and just touching each word as you go. Down here, it has the author and the illustrator. The author writes the words. The illustrator draws the pictures, right? So just again, engaging them before you even open the book. So that's another way to just get them quickly excited to start reading. Another thing I like to do, especially kindergarten and starting in kindergarten all the way up, through the elementary grades, is to start to differentiate between fiction and nonfiction. So I had this Little Red Hen here, and I also have farm produce. So you can start to ask them, let's read this one today. Do you think this is fiction or nonfiction? And if they're already in kindergarten, you probably already know the answer. Their teachers have taught them that fiction is a story with characters and a problem, right? It's fake, it's not real life. While nonfiction, right, has photographs and facts, teaching you real facts. So here I go again, my handy dandy songs. I always say fic-fic-fiction, fake, fake, fake. Fic-fic-fiction, fake, fake, fake. So if I look closely, I see a hen with a shovel and a hat. Is this real life? Is this story gonna teach me facts? No, this has gotta be fiction, right? And then this book, on the other hand, I see photographs that were taken with a camera, right? These are real pictures. Chickens lay eggs. This one is gonna teach me facts. So again, you can just start to definitely talk about fiction versus nonfiction as you're going. All right, I like to say, oh, I forgot my nonfiction. I say fic-fic-fiction, fake, 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 and then I say nonfiction. nonfiction, real facts. You got it? Nonfiction, real facts. So they love it. So you can kind of go back and forth between the two. All right, one more way I like to get readers excited for a story is by singing another song. So it goes like this. S-T-O-R-Y, a story, a story. So this is a way that I would always start my read alouds. I'd say, it's time for a S-T-O-R-Y, a story, a story. S-T-O-R-Y, a story, a story. Do you see? I'm like the ultimate hype woman, right? So another favorite in our house are these Usborne Phonics Readers. I know. It's so funny. Again, I'm going to keep telling you my son is 2.5, but they have awesome stories. The stories are amazing, the characters, the illustrations. So don't count these out. They also have, this is the little mini size, and then this is the regular size. And this is a way that I can, again, start to build interest and start to really see the story arc. So what I'll say is S-T-O-R-Y, right? S stands for setting. S stands for setting. A setting is where and when the story takes place. S stands for setting. A setting is where and when a story takes place. So I would say, where do you think the setting is? I think you're right. I think they're outside. I think they're outside. I see trees, I see grass. So you can start to talk about the setting. T, S-T-O-R-Y, stands for talking characters. T stands for talking characters. Who do you think the talking characters are going to be in this story? Ooh, I think you're right. I think it's going to be the mole. He's driving a digger here. I wonder if these characters are going to talk, right? So you're starting to talk about the book before you even read it. O stands for oops, there's a problem. You say it, oops, there's a problem. And then as you get through the book, you can start to identify what's going on, what's the problem, what does the character want or need. R stands for resolve, where you try to fix your problem. Get your hammer out. You try to fix your problem. Sometimes it takes quite a few times, right, to try to fix that problem. And in Mole in a Hole, that's the case. So I'll show you a couple of the pages. So in this story, the mole wants a new house. And so he says, all right, let me start digging a little hole over here. I want a new house. And it's not working out for him because that's where the rabbits have all their characters, or their carrots. And then he says, okay, well, let me go over here. This rabbit didn't like me here. Let me start digging here for a new house. The squirrel is upset because that's where all of his nuts are, right? So you can see that he's trying to fix his problem, but it's not working so well. So finally, he finds a spot to dig his hole for his new house, right? So as you're going, you can continue to talk about, are they starting to fix their problem? Are they trying to fix their problem? And then finally, Y stands for, yes, there's a solution. You say it, yes, there's a solution. And finally, in the end, I'm not gonna tell you when or how, but Mole in a Hole definitely has a happy ending. So check out the Usborne Phonics Readers, and those are really, really fun. And the stories, don't get tricked. I will say to my kids, don't get tricked. Just because they're phonics readers doesn't mean that your kids actually have to be able to read them, right? All right, so another thing I wanted to mention was for both of these, the small board books and the Usborne Readers, try not to discourage some of your older readers to pick these up, okay? Because sometimes if an older reader wants to pick these up, they can read it to their younger sibling, right? They can start to work on expression and talking like the characters. They can start to use their voice, which is another engagement tip for you, is to use their voice to engage their readers. So that might be you slow things down, right? One of my favorite ones that Michael always says is when we're in Little Red Riding Hood, I'll say, suddenly she sees a big bad wolf, right? So I get really quiet and I get really slow, and so he's like on the edge of the seat, and sometimes he'll even read it with me because he knows it's coming. So again, don't discourage those older readers because they can continue to work on their expression as well. All right, moving on to more favorites. I also love the Grumpy Tortoise, and there is a whole series of these. There's Scaredy Cat, Steady Sloth, and Cautious Chameleon. So the Grumpy Tortoise, hilarious, obviously from the get-go. He is very grumpy in the beginning. So boom, problem identified, right? And throughout the story, he starts to do things to cheer himself up. So he goes for a little walk, he smells some flowers, he goes up in the mountains, and other people and other animals start to cheer him up as well, right? So again, he's attempting to solve his problem, and finally in the end, he's not grumpy anymore. Big fan of those. And I also have Mind Your Manners. So these are starting to get a little bit bigger. Again, 2.5-year-old loves them, but also appealing to the older kids. So at the very beginning, these animals have no manners, none whatsoever. So we see the monkeys making a big mess when he's eating. We see the cat, Michael thinks that's hilarious. He's sneezing all over his friend. And throughout the story, it's a beautiful book with illustrations and a rhyme as well. So you'll definitely see lots of rhyming words where they start to learn their lessons and they start to learn that manners really matter. This is one of my favorites. We don't have to start squawking like parrots. Learn the meaning of words. Don't be crude, so you don't end up getting in trouble for parroting words that are rude. So if you have some of your kids are starting to just copy everything everyone else says, right? Okay. Mind Your Manners is an awesome book to have. Another favorite in this house is Red, Red, Red. So starting to talk about feelings and definitely getting angry. And this little guy gets very angry because he can't reach the biscuits, the cookies, up on the counter. And he gets so angry that he starts to scream and roar and bang his head. Toddlers, anyone? Toddlers? And finally, he gets red, red, red. And Michael likes to read this one out loud. And thankfully, Mama is there to help him calm down. And she teaches him to start to count, to calm himself down. Yep, all the time. So he is starting to count up to 10. And as you can see, progressively starts to feel better. Just breathe. So definitely add that one to your home library. And finally, Can I Join Your Club? This one is so precious, and at the end, it has just the best lesson. So Mr. Duck, again, pretty hilarious. You can continue to use that repetition even with the little ones. So Mr. Duck wants to join the Lion Club, and he says, nope, access denied, because he tries to roar and it doesn't work out. So this one is also pretty hilarious because he used to say, roar, quack. So they can start to say the sounds as well. So then he wants to come and join the Snake Club, quack. And he realizes, I'm duck. I'm not gonna, why am I trying to be like all the other animals, right? And so finally he's like, oh, enough of this already. I can't be in anyone else's club, so why can't I just make my own? And again, really fun. You can continue to add more repetition to your story. So I like to do for this one, I'll say that's not nice, right? So it's not actually words inside the book. Yes, it is so fun with the sound effects. but you can add your own. So you can be like, elephant, that's not nice. And then Michael will say, elephant, that's not nice. So you can also keep them engaged by just coming up with your own little tidbits as you're reading. And then finally, duck let everyone in because you can never have too many friends. Just the sweetest. So I love, love, love all of these fiction titles. I hope that those are helpful for you. Just a little recap. You can always do a preview at the beginning of the text, front cover, back cover, spine. You can try to talk about fiction versus nonfiction. You can start with STORY. You can also add lots of repetition throughout the book. Try to change your voice a little bit. Sometimes slow down. Sometimes get quiet, right? Sometimes you can whisper and they're like, oh, I want to hear more, right? And then finally at the end, you can always go back and reflect. What was the setting? Who were the talking characters? What was the problem? How did they solve it? What lesson did they learn? And I promise, teachers everywhere will thank you in the fall if you're doing all these things. So I will put all of the songs, tips, titles in the comments below. And thanks for joining. Bye, everyone.